Fingerstyle Fursday Tremolo piece number 2. Hi! Okay, so welcome to piece number 2. This one is in standard tuning and is in the key of D minor. So the very first thing actually let's get on with is let's have a look at some of the chords going on, just so we have a better understanding of what's going on with the left hand. Now, the very first chord I outlined is something called a D minor add 11. Now, you might be very familiar with the D minor. So there's two ways of playing a D minor add 11. You can basically just remove that middle finger, so you have a nice open G string there. Or the way that I play it is very lazy, is basically pretend you have an F chord, and then I just move my middle finger to the 3rd string instead. So I only use my index and my middle finger, rather than index and ring. There's no negatives for either one, it's just I like that shape for sliding, etc. So please play whatever's most comfortable. A minor 7. Oh, very sorry to include that chord, very difficult, I know. There you go. We'll practice that for about 11 weeks and you'll maybe start to master it there. Now, the next chord is an F major, but maybe not an F major that you're familiar with. Up here on the 5th fret. Okay. Now basically, you might be familiar with a D major. So if you play a D major and move it up to the 5th fret, it was actually an F chord. So there's a new way, maybe you already know it, but maybe it's a new way of playing an F chord. But for this piece, it works really well for tremolo. Okay, now moving on to the last guys who are a little bit stranger, the sort of fragments of chords. The best way I can describe this is play me a G chord, remove your middle finger, so you've got G sus2, and then move this so your index finger basically starts on the 5th fret. So you should have open, 5th fret, 6th fret, open. Now it's sort of G minor 7-ish chord. With the A it makes it a 9, but we ignore that. But that's basically, it's just those two kids there. The next one is an E minor, but usually we're used to E minors that look like this. And actually I just want these two notes. So I'm playing them again, just like I did with my D minor add 11. I'm using my index finger for the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and I'm using my middle finger for the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And so that is the variant of the E minor we're used to. So actually moving between that G shape and that E shape, because that movement comes up quite a lot in this piece. Just good getting used to that. And then the final chord we have is an A major. Nothing special about him. That's I think we all play A majors the same. Cool. That's all of our left hand covered. Let's go have a look at what's actually going on within the rest of the piece. Okay, so this piece is in 6/8, just like our previous piece. So it means really underneath we should be counting basically the main pulse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what your thumb is going to be doing, okay? So if we put that D minor add 11 together, there it is, lovely. And basically we're going to play a descending pattern this time. So we're going to go strings 2, 3, 4 with your thumb. 2, 3, 4. And again, you should count that as 1, 2, 3. Now, it's pretty much the same setup, very similar setup to the first piece, and that's basically, it's a pattern of 3, and then I would try and view it in that. So you can either count it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or if you want to count it so it outlines it on the bar, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. but either way, it should feel the same. Now, again, this is the same triplet tremolo style that we're going. So it's going to go thumb, index, middle. And again, that index middle is still going to be just on that first string. So exactly the same technique from the first video. I assume you've already watched that one, but if not, go look at the first tremolo piece and I explain the tremolo a little bit more in depth there. It's going to be exactly the same. So basically, we're going to play strings 2, 3, 4, which is 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm not counting these kids. 1, 2, 3. For whiles, I'll be going 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, but we're not. So we need to go for our first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or like I said, just count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 twice. And that's our first bar. Now on our second bar, we have that same 1, 2, 3 pattern, 1, 2, 3. But then we start to have a little move around on the melody. So basically, let's talk again thumb, because the tremolo is still going to be just on that open A string. I'm going to play the third string on the second fret, so that's already where it is. Then I need to play an open second string, and then I'm going to play the first string on the first fret on the second string, sorry. So from my D minor and 11, you play basically third string, open second, and then first fret on the second string. And technically that's counted 4, 5, 6. So our second bar, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adding in the tremolo, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our second bar. So if I play that first line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First line down. Now on the second line, we have the A minor 7 chord. Hope you've been practicing that. And again, we're going to do the same descending pattern with the thumb. So we're going to go second string, third string, fourth string, second string, third string, fourth string. So again, the idea, and what I always try and do with Fingerstyle Fursdays, as I keep talking about, so apologies, is I want one fundamental idea that's quite repetitive, that is just changed up with chords, okay? So whilst it all sounds very nice, you sort of follow one idea and then you can clock into it, and then we change it with chords. It's less to remember and it's a good exercise. So for this kid, it's going to be the same setup as the first line. So first bar will be 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm going to count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the second bar, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play that same little melody line that we just did from the first bar. So that will be second fret on the third string with your middle finger, then open second string, and then first fret second string with your index. And that'll be, so the second bar technically goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the second line, we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's our second line, all completed. Okay, so for our third line, we have this nice F chord that is in the D shape. Now I want to talk about the transition of getting to this first of all. So a lot of times I'm very cheeky and lazy, and basically from that melody I'm going to put my ring finger down on the third fret, because that's basically naturally where it rests with that stretch, and I basically play a nice grace slide, so I slide into that fifth fret and then put down the rest of the chord. So I make sure the ring finger lands first, and then I'm just adding my 2 extra fingers there with that slide. It sounds quite nice, but actually it's sort of a stepping stone to get to the next chord. Rather than me fretting about trying to move my whole hand, I'm just actually using a little bit of travel. Now, you don't have to do that, obviously. If we don't do that, you can still move to the chord shape, absolutely no problem. It is just, like I said, I'm always trying to visualize where I'm going to, and I'll often use passing notes just to sort of get there. Okay, so we've got our F shape, and basically first bar is going to be the same. It's going to be string 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And again, still counting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second bar, we go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to get some melody again. Now the melody this time is all on the second string. So we're going to play the 5th fret on the second string, where our ring finger's already got it, so we can keep that. And then I'm going to play the 3rd fret on the second string, which should be your index finger, and then back to the 5th fret. So that little melody, all on the second string, is 5, 3, 5. So on the second bar, if I just played the thumb, I end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your ring finger really acts as an anchor there, okay? So whatever you do, do not move that ring finger, but just get used to moving from that shape to that shape, that shape to that shape. Again, really good practice just on your left hand, just to move it lots and lots and lots. So you build up the muscle memory quickly. Okay, so if I play that second bar, we end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the whole line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we have it. For our 4th line, we end up in the G minor, what I call the G minor 7 chord, going on here. And basically, that from our melody line, we sort of lead with that ring finger, okay? So I'm playing ring, index, ring, and then basically I'm just moving the ring finger up a fret to the 6th fret, second string, and then I'm going to drop my index finger there. I mean, if you're clever, you could also use your middle finger, and then it makes the transition to the E minor easier. It's just personal choice that I don't. There is no right or wrong here, okay? You just decide what is more comfortable, whether you prefer middle finger and you have less change to your next chord, or whether you prefer index just for comfortability, okay? Both work, just do whatever works for you. So we played a little melody, and now I'm into the G minor 6. Now on this kid, he's only 1 bar long, so there's no melody here, it's actually just the chord. So it's going to be string 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From there, we have to move down to our E minor. And again, it's this little fragment of an E minor. So I'm playing 3rd fret, 2nd string on my index, and then the middle finger plays the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And again, on this chord, just going to be 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now technically that chord sort of acts as a pause, and then we come back into the piece. So the next line is where sort of the piece starts again. So what I recommend for some extra emotion and feeling, play G minor, and then when you're playing the E minor, just slow down a little bit. And then we go back into the D minor, okay? You don't have to do that, but it's nice to give it breathing room and a little bit of emotion, and also to signal that the piece has reached sort of a point. And then we can go back into it. So I think that works really nicely, okay? Again, my advice is completely opinionated. Right, super. That is our first 4 lines. Now, after that, when we hit the 5th line, it very much is the same up until the point. So our 5th line is exactly the same as our first line, with D minor add 11. Our 6th line is the same as the second line, so the A minor 7. Now, it's here on the F where actually it becomes different, okay? So on the first bar, we're still going to play the F chord, and we're still going to play 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the second bar, before we played basically 1, 2, 3, and then our melody was 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. That's where we went with that. This time, instead of going 5, 3, 5, we're actually going to go 5, 3, 1. And that should be with the index. So I'm playing 5th fret on the 2nd with my ring, 3rd with index, 1st with index. So that's second bar, the F. We end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're there. Once more, so that whole line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's our line. Let's talk about the next line. So here's where we hit the final line. So after we've just done that little melody, 5, 3, 1, I'm going to go to my A minor 7 for 1 bar. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to come to our A major, and basically here we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4 I'm just going to pluck that second string and leave it. Okay, so on the A we end up going 1, 2, 3, 4. We let that nice natural sustain just go. So our last line, A minor 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then A major, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go. Whenever you're playing an A minor 7, which actually I like to include them a lot. If I have to travel places and you need an A minor chord, an A minor 7 is an absolutely fantastic chord. You shouldn't feel like it's cheating because you're not doing anything. It's great travel. But when you are doing it, obviously your left hand is free. So I'm sort of already starting to form an A major with my left hand, waiting to drop on. And that's always the thing with anything where you have sort of either a muted note or a nice open chord like an A minor 7, is almost start to formulate your left hand chord a little bit in the air. So then you can drop it off and you don't have to think about putting the chord together for the very last second. Okay, that's piece number 2 done, okay? Again, take it very, 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 very slow. This technique and obviously the technique from number 1 are both very, very, very much the same. I've used the 6/8 time signature to hopefully break it in, and so there's a natural transition between these two. Take it very slow, be kind to yourself, have fun. Goodbye.